The prestigious Oxford Union held a debate and a vote. Which is the greater threat to stability in the Middle East? Would that be Israel or Iran? And Israel is the greatest threat, according to the Oxford Union. They voted, and the vote wasn't even close. They debated this on the 13th of November. The motion, quote, Israel is a greater threat to regional stability than Iran. The vote ended up being 265 to 113 in favor of, yes, Israel is actually the bigger threat than Iran. It was an interesting debate, hearing both sides decide on, kind of coming up with their reasoning as to why one is a greater threat to the region than the other. But just before we get into that, the Oxford Union is a prestigious student-led debating society in Oxford, England. It was founded in 1823 to provide a forum for free speech and debate, exchange of ideas. Every week they host a different debate. They have high-profile guests. They debate things from politics to academia, culture, They have different social events and public speaking opportunities for its members. And some of its previous speakers have included Winston Churchill, Malcolm X, Albert Einstein. So it is a very prestigious debate society. And when they debated, they ended up saying that, yes, Israel is in fact overwhelmingly the greater threat to the region. I think it doesn't take much to come to that conclusion when you just look at the different countries that they've attacked individually. Israel has attacked way more countries than Iran has over the course of its entirety of the existence of Israel. Iran has attacked fewer countries, but also just in the last 10 years, even just in the last few days, Israel is attacking. In fact, last month, Israel attacked numerous different, this is in September. Israel has attacked 6 countries in the past 72 hours. This was in September. I believe September 10th is when this article came out. So not long ago. I mean, this is just kind of a snapshot of how Israel has behaved. I think many of us have seen this since October 7th. Israel just attacking and attacking and attacking. And at one point, they were fighting a 7-front war. They had 7 enemies that they were going after. And they were saying that Iran was the problem, yet Israel was bombing 7 different countries. And that was after October 7th. And just as recently as September, they were attacking 6 countries in 72 hours. And by the way, look at these 6 countries. One of them was shocking, Tunisia. What the hell are they doing attacking Tunisia? I mean, they had attacked Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza. They had attacked but Qatar. But then Tunisia? What were they doing attacking Tunisia? Well, in September, it was the flotilla. They had gone and they were attacking in Tunisian waters the freedom flotillas. That's who they were attacking. So Israel is a greater threat to the instability in the region just by the sheer fact that they continue to strike everybody. But just a recent list, just in the last 10 years, let me just get this list up here. In the past 10 years, Israel has attacked more countries directly than Iran has. Israel has conducted military operations, including airstrikes and missile attacks in at least 6 countries, while Iran has directly attacked or struck about 4 to 5, with much of its regional activity conducted through proxies rather than official state action. So you can't even blame, the only way you could say that Iran has attacked 4 or 5 countries is if you count the proxies. So if you say the Houthis in Yemen are actually Iran, even though they're Yemeni and they're operating out of Yemen, they're still considered Iran, which is, quite frankly, pretty unfair. I'm pretty sure they're operating in their own self-interest as well. Same thing for Hezbollah. You'd have to say that these Lebanese fighters in Lebanon are actually Iran. But they've got us thinking this way. They've got us thinking that, okay, if Lebanese fighters in Lebanon attack, then it's actually Iran. Or if Yemeni fighters in Yemen attack, it's actually Iran. That's the only way you can get to 4 or 5 countries that Iran has attacked in the last 10 years. That's the only way you get there. I believe the only country that Iran has actually attacked is Israel itself when they've fired missiles at Israel. Israel, on the other hand, absolutely does the targeting, the fighting, and bombing. And if you were to then, look, if we're going to play the game of, well, if Yemeni fighters in Yemen, or if Lebanese fighters in Lebanon, or if Iraqi fighters in Iraq bomb places, it's actually Iran. Well, then I guess we could say the same about Israel. We could say, well, any place that America bombs is actually Israel. Any place, which might be true, any place that the UK bombs, it might be that's actually Israel. I mean, you could play this game all day. It's mind-boggling that we think this way. They've got us gaslit to think this way. Now it's become second nature and normal to think this way, but it really shouldn't be. It doesn't make any sense if Lebanese fighters in Lebanon attack that it's actually Iran. That doesn't actually make sense, and we should stop doing that. We should stop thinking that way. But just in the last 10 years, just looking at the last 10 years, Israel has attacked the Palestinian territories, Gaza and the West Bank. Now, remember, West Bank's not even run by Hamas, so what is their excuse? And they've been attacking Gaza and the West Bank since well before October 7th. They've also been attacking Lebanon. I believe they're attacking Lebanon right now as we speak. Syria, Iran, Yemen, Iraq, Qatar. We could also add Tunisia to this. There's probably a couple of others here. Iran, on the other hand, has attacked... so maybe these are ones that Iran has struck. I'd have to look at this a little bit more. But Israel, we know for sure they've been striking Israel. Iraq, they struck U.S. bases and Kurdish groups. Syria with missile drone strikes and military presence. Pakistan border missile strikes in 2024, and Jordan missile and drone strikes in 2024. So they have done some strikes also. So when you look at this, and then you look at, okay, so you've got one country that's attacking everywhere regularly, all the time. I mean, Israel is attacking right now Lebanon and Syria as we speak. I believe they're dropping bombs literally right now. They've still been killing people in the Palestinian territories every single day. They've committed a genocide. I don't recall Iran having committed a genocide. I don't recall Iran attacking daily. Israel attacks so often, so frequently, that we don't even report on it because it's just, they're doing it all the time. I mean, I'm literally sitting here saying to you, they're attacking Syria and Lebanon as we speak. I actually don't know, but it's a really damn good guess. I mean, that's the problem. The problem is, it's likely that they are, because they usually are. So I could sit here and say to you any given time, any given day, that right now they're attacking Lebanon and right now they're attacking Syria. And odds are in my favor that I'm right. Iran, on the other hand, it might be an attack here one time, an attack there another time, and that's it. It's a one-off. But Israel is constantly attacking. On top of it, who has the nuclear weapon? Israel has a nuclear weapon. Iran, they just keep saying we have to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon. But Israel has a nuclear weapon. They're not even admitting it. They don't disclose it, which makes them even more dangerous. And we, for whatever reason, allow it. We turn a blind eye and we say, that's okay. You don't have to tell us about your nuclear weapon, even though they absolutely should, because they do have a doctrine that basically if their existence has reached existential, that they start nuking. That they just start dropping nukes. And they are the threat to the world because they are so, for one, they're not disclosing their nukes. And I think that just automatically, it doesn't matter if we think you're rational people or not. It doesn't matter if we think that you will or will not drop those nukes. The fact that you won't even disclose them makes you the most dangerous country with nukes. China, we know they have nukes. Russia, we know they have nukes. But when Israel's able to hide their nukes, that means what? They could use them without being detected? I mean, at least with the others, we've got some regulation on it. So the main arguments that were made, they had several people debating on each side of this Oxford Union debate. Hillel Neuer was one debating for pro-Israel side. He was on the pro-Israel side saying, no, Israel is not the greater threat. It's actually Iran. And you had the former prime minister of Palestine, Mohammed Shataya, and he was arguing on the side of Palestine, of Iran, essentially against Israel, saying that Israel was the greater threat. Their basic arguments. Hillel says that Iran actively exports revolutionary jihad and violence primarily through the proxy groups and militias across the Middle East. So he's saying because they support Hezbollah and the Houthis, that they are more dangerous. He also says that Iranian involvement in Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Gaza describing the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' support for groups like the Houthis and Hezbollah, which has led to the destruction and collapse of these societies. He says that's what makes them more dangerous. He says Iran's actions have turned these territories into battlefields, failed states, or launch pads for attacks on neighboring countries. What he means is Israel specifically. He says that global Iranian terrorism, referencing attacks against Jewish communities worldwide and assassination plots against dissidents in Europe and North America, make them more dangerous. Although I think many of us would say, okay, what about the pager attack? What about the various different terror attacks in the West Bank? What about the assassination of scientists in Iran? What about the various different attacks in Syria, the taking of land? I mean, which is actually, now I'm making the argument for the other guy. The former prime minister of Palestine, he says that Israel's military actions, occupation, and treatment of Palestinians make it more dangerous for the region than Iran. Says that Israel often acts above the law, ignores UN resolutions, and is the only country in the region with nuclear weapons, which they argued increase the risk for a wider conflict. He says that the suffering of the Palestinians since 1948 and Israel being an expansionist colonist state and accusing and maintaining an apartheid regime makes it more dangerous. Said that Israel's repeated military operations and policies destabilize neighboring countries and pull in global powers, raising the risk of broader international crisis. Says that humanitarian crisis in Gaza, aggressive actions dressed up as defense, show that Israel's approach undermines international law and human rights. And saying who is acting and who is reacting, saying that many of Iran's actions are a response, a reaction, not an action, that Israel acts and Iran reacts. And the only reason why Iran reacts aggressively is because Israel is acting aggressively. One of the biggest points on here, let me see if I can grab, I thought this was such a great quote from the debate, saying that, let me see if I can find the exact quote on here, but it was regarding guns, saying that Israel is a greater threat because, I wish I could find out. I don't know where it went. I don't have it anymore. This happens to me sometimes. My notes get a little bit jumbled, but basically they have all the guns. Oh, that's what it was. I can paraphrase it. It was that Israel has all the guns and none of the consequences, or none of the word wasn't consequences, but it was, none of the responsibility. It was one of those, but it was Israel has all the guns and none of the consequences, essentially. And it is true. I think we've seen this time and time again that they don't ever, they're allowed to have nukes, and they're not even forced by the international community to disclose the fact they have the nukes, which makes me wonder if they really do. Sometimes I question if it's just a ruse in order to keep people afraid, but it's quite interesting. Oh, also, let me just show you this one here. Israel is, another thing that they're doing is they're expanding.
Workers continued to build a concrete wall on Sunday along Israel's side of the border with Lebanon, a day after the Lebanese presidency said the country will complain to the United Nations Security Council over the wall. It extends beyond the UN-mapped Blue Line, which separates Lebanon from Israel and the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights.
Okay, another reason why Israel is a threat is because they keep expanding, and this time they've expanded into Lebanon. So the reports that are coming out now, and what this is talking about here, is that Israel is building a wall between Israel and Lebanon. And what did they do? They took land from Lebanon as they were building this wall. They just went into Lebanon and started building the wall. And Lebanon said, wait a minute, that's our territory. And Israel said, yeah, oh, well, well, what are you going to do about it? So Lebanon says, well, we're going to go to the UN. And Israel says, okay, go complain. And you know what? No one's going to do anything about it. And Israel knows that. So Israel does it. They take the Golan Heights. They take land in Syria. They take land in Lebanon. They take land in the West Bank. They take land in Gaza. Nobody bitches about it. They know they can get away with it. That makes them the greater threat. They are the spoiled child with no rules on them at all. They're allowed to get away with everything, and that makes them absolutely more dangerous. But just the sheer fact, one simple fact of having a nuke and not being forced to disclose it, I think right there makes you more dangerous, just that sheer fact alone. But then the fact that they are bombing so many countries as we speak right now, the chances are high that they're literally bombing Lebanon right now, that they're literally bombing Syria right now as I'm speaking to you. The fact that they're doing that and Iran is not. It's about time that people start recognizing how dangerous Israel actually is and how much they've been able to get away with, because they've been playing on the sympathy of people. And that sympathy has been the Holocaust. And they have used that, they've milked it, and it has helped them get away with murder, literally, absolutely murder. And it's time the world wakes up, and it actually looks like the world is. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iversen Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.